Hey there, Rush fans. This is Mark Minetti alongside you for your latest edition of Behind the Bench, presented by Assurance Solutions, where we ask your favorite Rush players questions you've submitted to us on our social media platforms. This week, I'm joined by Rush forward Patrick Cullen in a very special one-on-one edition of Behind the Bench. Patrick, thanks so much for joining us this week. Incredible slate of games last week against the best team in the ECHL, the Allen Americans. You take 2 out of 3 games. Give us your overall perspective on each game.
Yeah, it was huge, especially with 10 games left going into playoffs. Each game was like a playoff game for us, so to be able to come out with 2 or 3 is good, especially going back-to-back on the weekend was huge for us.
Obviously, one of the big key components of hockey is puck possession and winning face-off draws. You were absolutely clutch this last weekend against the Americans. What adjustments did you make coming into the weekend to win as many draws as you did?
I think just going into the game, being ready to compete on each draw. I think I lost the first one on that Friday night, and they went down and scored, and that wasn't a great feeling. So you just kind of want to keep going from there, and you get in a rhythm, and I was fortunate enough to get some good bounces.
The games came to a close in regulation, very tight one-goal games, some even tied within the last 7 minutes. Coach Ferris was calling your number a lot to take those big draws. What was it like to have your number called in those key moments and come up big for your team?
I love it. I think that's, as a player, that's what you want. You want to be in the last minute of the game, either you're winning, losing, whatever it be. So I was excited, and hopefully, like I said, I can keep that going.
So when it comes to these face-off draws, now that I think about it, is there any scouting you do against the centerman you're going to go up against?
Well, especially playing these teams a lot, you kind of know the tendencies a little bit, but when you get in the dot, they're going to change up probably. You're going to change a little. So it's just about getting a little bit of rhythm and going back to, like I said before, just competing on it and making sure, even if it's 50-50, you get it back somehow.
This is your first season back in North American hockey. The prior 2 seasons you spent in Germany. For the fans that don't know, what's the European style of hockey like compared to North America?
It's pretty wide open, bigger ice sheet. Guys can skate a little, not as physical. So, like I said, the guys are kind of buzzing around sometimes. But it's good. I think it helped my skating over there and just being able to, control the puck a little more. But I definitely, when you play games like last weekend, you miss playing over here, and it was awesome.
We'll take a quick commercial break. After a word from our sponsor, we'll be back with your second half of Behind the Bench.
My job at Assurant involves keeping our customers informed at a time when they need us the most. I care about doing a good job for my company, but mostly I care about the people I serve. I found the same spirit of caring in a lot of my coworkers at Assurant. In the communities where we operate, we get involved with outreach groups and local charities. The same teams that are so good at helping our customers are also hard at work helping out in our neighborhoods. I think if I had to tell somebody one thing about Assurant, I'd say we care.
And we're back with your second half of Behind the Bench, presented by Assurance Solutions, joined once again by Rush forward Patrick Cullen in a special one-on-one edition this week of Behind the Bench. Patrick, the last time we talked to you on this program, you hadn't been around Rushmore yet with your roommate Matthew Brisebois. Now you have been. What was it like?
It was awesome. It was pretty cool. We didn't really know what to expect going there. Obviously, you see it in photos and movies and stuff like that, but to be there and see the detail was pretty remarkable.
Now, this is quite a change of pace to the Rush schedule this month. You go from a February month where you played 13 games in 28 days, basically averages out to a game every other day, to a month of March where this week you kind of have the week off up until Friday. So what's that change of pace like?
I think it's awesome right now, especially with 10 games left going into playoffs. That was a big month for us, those last stretch, and I think, we did fairly well, which is a positive. So to be able to have a week and just kind of get back to the rhythm, get back to some practices, work on some stuff, it definitely will be huge for us.
So would you prefer to have that week off, or would you rather just be in go mode so that you're fresh, ready to compete?
After that stretch, and especially last weekend, this week will do good for us. But I like to play a lot, but at the same time, like I said, when you play games like we just had last weekend, it's nice to get a little break.
Last question for you, Patrick. Like you mentioned multiple times in the program already, 10 games to go before a major playoff push. What are your overall thoughts, and how jacked up are you for these last 10 games?
I'm real excited. I think everyone in the locker room is real excited. Just last weekend was a playoff atmosphere, and to be able to come out with those two wins on the weekend was huge for us. And I think everyone's kind of seeing how we can be and how we can play as a team. So really looking forward to these last 10 games and making a strong push.
Well, thanks so much for joining us again on the program, Patrick. That'll do it for your latest edition of Behind the Bench, presented by Assurance Solutions. And don't forget to submit your questions for your favorite Rush players on our social media platforms.